Hello everyone and welcome to my video channel for my individual assignment. So before we start, let me introduce myself first, which is my name is Mama Aqiell bin Mama Yusri, and at the bottom of my name is my student ID. So today I want to discuss about a critical shifting dynamic in modern organizational development, which is about the impact of tailored training on performance within a multi-generational workforce. As we navigate an era where up to 5 distinct generations must collaborate side by side, we have to look past traditional rigid paradigms and explore how inclusive, customized learning structures can drive through organizational agility and performance. To kick things off first, let's look at the baseline reality of the modern corporate environment. So we are currently operating in the most aged, diverse employment landscape in modern history, with demographics spanning from baby boomers to Generation Z, which is my generation right now. So because of this traditional one-size-fits-all management and training approach designed for a homogeneous workforce are providing entirely inadequate. So the entry of Gen Z brings highly intuitive digital native perspective that are fundamentally different from older generation. Bridging these structural gaps require us to implement tailored engagement strategies and align our professional development with distinct learning and communication preference. So let's move on to the next part. So moving on to the next part, which is the issue of this article. So after discussing about the introduction, this will bring us to the core issue that organizations face when they ignore generational differences. Recent data highlight a massive retention risk, which you can see by my side that 74% of millennials and Gen Z members have actively considered quitting their jobs simply because their company does not provide the essential skills and training required for their roles. So basically, on the other end of the spectrum, older generation are experiencing several overwhelmed feelings. Basically, they are being forced through rapid digital transformation without receiving the appropriate accessible training support that they need to adapt. So standardized training is creating a disconnected workplace. This will drive up to turnover on one side and inducing technical stress on the other sides.
Now let's look at the actual impact of these training gaps, which we can see there are two, which is organization and employee. So first, let's look at the organizational side first. So we can see the first is increased operational costs. This is because training quality is rather poor, high turnover among millennials and Gen Z push organizations to spend heavily again and again on recruiting and onboarding new talent. This will also create a widening efficiency gaps, which is difference in how people adopt technology cause extra friction, which slow down project workflows across cross-generational teams. And now let's look at the employee's perspective, which it leads directly to career growth stagnation, this means younger employees often feel stuck and unmotivated when they are refused to the essential skills training they need to move forward. On the other hand of the spectrum, it includes the severe digital burnout and stress. Older employees tend to carry feeling of being overwhelmed and isolated because there is no easy, reachable help available while technology changes quickly and all at once. So now let's look at the next part.
So moving on to the next part, which is the challenges for this topic. When we look closer at the specific training and development challenge, it will come down to a clash of delivery preference. For example, organizations are now forced to navigate complex hybrid models. On the other hand, Gen Z learners heavily favor fast, mobile-first micro-learning modules. On the other hand, baby boomers and Gen X learners heavily favor mentoring, live session, and practical, so like real world application. So compounding these are communication barriers, which is older cohorts are accustomed to structured annual performance review, while younger workers expect immediate real-time digital feedback. We don't accommodate this varying comfort level. We run directly into efficiency gaps, which is friction and resistance. Let's move on to the next one. To kick things off first, let's look at the baseline reality of the modern corporate environment. So we are currently operating in the most aged, diverse employment landscape in modern history, with demographics spanning from baby boomers to Generation Z, which is my generation right now. So because of this traditional one-size-fits-all management and training approach designed for a homogeneous, which workforce are providing entirely inadequate. So the entry of Gen Z brings highly intuitive, digital native perspective that are fundamentally different from older generation. Bridging these structural gaps require us to implement tailored engagement strategies and align our professional development with distinct learning and communication preference. So let's move on to the next part. So after discussing about this topic, here comes the conclusion. In conclusion of this topic, moving beyond a one-size-fits-all training model, it is no longer optional. It is a business necessity for workforce stability and peak performance. By learning into customized learning architecture, we can successfully facilitate bidirectional knowledge transfer, keeping our older talent supported and our younger talent retained. So, in summary, organizations that intentionally design age-inclusive development program will successfully transform generational diversity from logistical challenge into a powerful source of competitive advantage and organizational excellence. So that's all from me, and here is my reference for the article information. And thank you very much to Madam Suhaila and all of you that are listening.